Philadelphia Eagles, boys. How about them Eagles?
How about them crybaby boys?
Yeah, how about them Cowboys? I mean, in all seriousness, prayers up for Dak Prescott, but
the NFC East got to win.
No prayers for Dak. He didn't tear his ACL. It's not a serious injury. The dude twisted his thumb the wrong way. Okay, we're not doing prayers for Dak. Like that's the equivalent of stubbing your toe at work. All right, we're not doing this prayers up for Dak.
He gave a high five a little too aggressively.
Yeah, like come on, calm down. That's
fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah. No, they're gonna suck. The rest of the NFC is actually kind of scares me.
You know, it's crazy that the Cowboys are the only team in the NFC East that lost week 1.
They're also the only team that didn't score a touchdown in week 1.
Yeah.
So they suck.
Yeah, they do suck. People said they got better this year. Nah, you're wrong. Sorry about that, boys. The Cowgirls are down the drain. They're going to be the last in the division.
Yes.
Just saying.
And we'll get into it in fantasy football rundown, but they are really missing Amari Cooper.
Oh,
yeah, they are.
They got no weapons. Yo, guys, Cooper Rush. Make sure you pick Cooper Rush up on the waiver wires.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
That's a perfect transition into our next segment because there's a guy who's actually owns the next segment that would say, never play a Dallas Cowboy on your team. I'm talking.
Time for Phillies talk with Bob Tommy. Junior Stitch.
All right, Tom, obviously a lot's happening with the Philadelphia Phillies right now, getting into a pivotal moment. I texted you in the group chat. It feels like we've been saying Red October all year. But tell us why this Red October could be different. I mean, remember that stat that I sent in the group chat last night with the record?
Yes, I do. I think this year, it's been 10 years, Dutch. 10. Count them. Since we've last seen a Red October. That is why this year everybody's saying it. Red October. And you're getting annoyed with me saying it. Almost as annoyed as everybody talking about the Kelly Green Eagles jerseys as much. Because they've mentioned it a million times. I got it. But it's been 10 years. The Kelly Greens, why is everyone mentioning it? Because it's been
10 years.
5 years? Like it's been forever. So we've made some progress this week. Harper finally looks like Harper again. They won 6 of 7. Granted, they played the Nationals and the Marlins and all of those 7 games, but they won 6 of 7. They did what they were supposed to do. They gained ground on the Brewers and built up a sizable lead in the wild card. The Mets are out of first place, which is always a beautiful thing. I'd rather chop on than hear the stupid trumpets play. Hey, because guess what? The Mets are a poverty franchise. The LOL Mets are out of first place. And we also got other great news. We got Zach Eflin back. He's going to be in our bullpen. We're going to keep Bailey Falter in the starting rotation. We're getting Zach Wheeler back next week. He threw a successful bullpen today at the minor league level and is expected back next week. Our ace is back. And we have Sir Anthony Dominguez, who was pumping straight cheddar, Dutch, throwing 100 and sent down the Marlins 1-2-3 last night for that sweet 2-1 win. And I promised I'd keep it short. That is my update for this week. What else needs to be said? I think we can move on to the Birds that I know you guys want to talk about.
Time for Phillies talk with Bob Tommy. Junior Stitch.
And real quick, I do want to thank Chalkboard for sponsoring the segment. Good job, Tom. That was perfect, concise. But I do want to thank Chalkboard for sponsoring this segment. If you guys aren't already, download the Chalkboard link. The link is right below. Join it, downloaded it. It helps us out. It gets us paid. Ya boys, you know what to do. But without further ado, it's Eagles time, baby.
Let's go, Dutch. Hey, Dom. Hey, Dom. E-A-E-L-E-S. Eagles!
You guys were not in sync at all.
I think we were.
I love it. That was awesome.
Honestly, kind of, I'm hearing it from the TV downstairs, and it kind of sounded not bad. But
tell me the joke you said on Sunday about spelling.
Which one? I had a lot of bad ones.
About spelling.
Oh, about the spelling?
About the
Hey,
spelling.
don't worry. We're the only team in the NFL, only fan base in the NFL that could always win a spelling bee.
Nice.
Hey, Tom, you know what also happened on Sunday?
What?
You got your ass whooped, boy! By this guy right here.
Though. I wouldn't.
That's
be
what
shocked.
happened,
I
baby.
wouldn't
The Delco
be shocked.
scumbags to the Flying Dutchman.
Hold on, but if you saw our group chat, there's only one man I really have to beat, and that's Dan's God Squad, who apparently was the sucky squad because I got more points than him this week, and he said there was no chance I'd even have more points than him.
All right.
Well, I'm going to give this to a storyteller.
We're gonna go through this team by team, all right? So first game we have the Wilmington Wolves versus the SJ Bartle Duels. We don't know what that is, but that's Jack versus AJ. AJ put up 145, Jack put up 106. AJ's had a very balanced team. Herbert had 24 points, Taylor had 27, Hunt had 23, Kelsey had 26. All around, the most consistent team we had this week. Jack, unfortunately, did not play great. His low score was Mike Williams with 3 points. His high score was Joe Mixon with 21.5. So, Jack, there's always week 2, buddy. All right, let's not. There's always week 2.
I mean, I had Devontae Smith and no one was targeted to him, so that was a big issue.
The next game we're going to go over is Arrow versus the Monco Monarchs. That's KJ who won. His leading score was Josh Allen with 31 points. Arrow was talking a lot of shit. He had Barkley give him 33 points, but besides that, really not much of anything. His low score was the New Orleans defense with 3 points. That was one of the closer games. The next game, just Dalton dropping his goddamn nuts on the table, 191 to 130. Dalton had every one of his players was in double digits. Dalton, do you want to say anything? You kind of took Tommy Boy to Pound Town.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
All right. Tommy, do you have anything to say for yourself? Because you had a good showing, but Dalton,
No, Tom had a great game. Tom would have beaten a lot of teams this week.
I had four guys go down in the first half.
All right, we're done. We're done with the excuses. All right, moving on.
And hold on, wait. The next part is an excuse. Dan can suck it because Dan said there was no shot I was going to beat him or have any more points than him overall this season, and I kicked his ass this week.
Well, actually, I'm the one who kicked Dan's ass.
You didn't freaking play Dan this week, so you didn't kick his ass.
But
right,
did
Tom,
you not
Tom,
see our thing? We have a season-long bet going that I can't get more total points this season than him. And I have more
I see
points
what you're
than
saying.
him.
I see what you're saying now.
Tom, Dan is so far in your head, just so much real estate. So we'll get into that game. I am actually the one who beat Dan, and
I appreciate you.
My leading scorer was Cooper Kupp, and Dan's leading scorer was Devontae Adams with roughly the same points, 30-31. Dan's low score was the Green Bay defense with 0 points, but I want to read something that was sent in the group chat Friday morning after the Buffalo Bills game. So I had Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford on my team, and this was a message that Dan sent Friday morning. Kupp has 31 points, and I'm still projected to beat you, Josh. And I said something not so nice back. I won't repeat that, but Dan, I beat you. So I hope you live with this failure forever, and I hope you go 0-17. And that is your fantasy roundup. So Dalton is 1-0. I am 1-0. AJ's 1-0. KJ's 1-0. So we'll keep you updated all year long. We're still deciding what the winner gets, and we're still deciding what the loser gets. I think if Tom loses, his punishment should be he has to watch a game with his mouth duct tape, so he's not allowed to talk. That would be hilarious.
That would be amazing. Just imagine the duct tape, like the Dallas game or something. He would literally like have smoke coming out of his ears. Like, Tom, maybe a Phillies game. What would be worse, a Phillies game or an Eagles game?
Probably an Eagles game. I feel like I get louder for Eagles games because there's only one a week. Whereas a Phillies game, I gotta be a little more.
You gotta pace it out. You got a couple.
Yeah, I gotta pace it out. It's a lot. There's more games.
Ooh! I got one. When does baseball season start? Like late March or early April? Normally?
Yeah, usually around the last weekend in March or first
I
weekend
think
in
this is
April.
what we're gonna do. We're gonna have punishments based off the player. So it's not like if you lose, like everybody has to do this. Like if Dalton loses, he'll have a specific one. So Tom, if you lose, you can't watch the first month of MLB next year.
Oh,
You can listen to it on the radio. You can't watch it.
that's actually really cool. Like he would be like in the 1930s.
Okay, fine.
Like if you lose, you can't play Madden.
I'm fine with that. Because I listen to
But
it.
I can listen to Tom play Madden on the radio.
What? I mean, yeah, you're a psychopath, but yeah, you can do that.
Yes.
Jack, if you lose, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Maybe you can't wear bright colors for a month.
Yeah.
You can't look like an Easter egg for a month.
Zeb, if you lose, you got to tell us that you were in love.
No, what's his prized possession, Jack? What's his prized possession? It's like his hair. He loves his hair. He has to shave his head.
This is his prized possession.
Don't touch my goddamn tiger.
Woods.
Yeah.
Woods is a prized possession.
That was given to me by my great grandmother. It's like
so. I think what we do is we just lock him in the closet for a whole month.
That could be bad mojo. That could be bad mojo. You don't mess with somebody's like teddy bear or toy from when they were younger. Look. I'm not even hating on Josh. Mine is right here. It's hidden back here because, I'm a man now, so I got to look all big and tough. But at the same time, when shit hits the fan,
me and Woods go way back.
We have a suggestion from the Instagram Live about if I were to win the league.
If you were to win.
What is it? What do you get?
You guys have to pay for an MLB.TV subscription for me for a year, one season.
How much
it's like
is
$20?
Fuck yes. That's the easiest gift ever.
Big.
I know.
Big.
I'm just trying to get the fans involved.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and do this, and then we'll do the call-ins after? I'll let you take it from here.
The question of the week is Dallas sucks, right? But the real question, what is Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni's combined record week 1?
As Eagles head coach.
Yeah, as Eagles head coach. What is Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni's combined record in week 1 as Eagles head coach? We will have the answer end of the show. Drop likes and thanks for Fantasy Football for sponsoring this segment.
Just all
Fantasy Football Network. We appreciate you guys. And Jackson, on that note,
what do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
Welcome to the show, Liam. You and I go way back. I remember the night, I think it was your girlfriend's place. We had a nice little night. Had some nice conversation, nice drinks, and everything like that. Anyway, Liam, how you doing today?
How far?
What an intro. What's up, boys?
what's up, Liam? Welcome to the show. Liam is one of our friends, I guess you can say, from St. Joe's. So welcome to the show. Diehard Eagles fan, has a badass Eagles tattoo from when we won the Super Bowl. Been a fan his whole life. But do you have any questions for us or anything you want to bring to the show?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions here. A little curious what you guys think. You think Smith's going to be able to step up and be a legit wide receiver too, or you think A.J. Brown's going to take the majority of the snaps?
I think he can step up and be a number 2 receiver. But the thing is, like, they're going to double A.J. Brown from now on after week 1. He dropped almost 200 yards receiving and have Devontae Smith on the slant. He'll be wide open. Target him because, I mean, like we told, this is our best receiving core. Give Devontae Smith the ball because they're going to guard A.J. Brown locked down.
Yeah. Devontae Smith was a legit wide receiver 1, though. He had did he have over 1,000 yards?
I think it was a little under 1,000.
He had almost.
He had like 916, I think, was the exact amount.
He had almost 1,000 yards on a playoff team. I mean, I think I agree with Jack. I don't think A.J. Brown is going to get the targets or the yards he got in week 1. But I could be wrong. I mean, the dude's a physical freak. So.
And I think that our season last year our games were more difficult last season than this season.
Like our schedule?
Yeah, schedule.
Yeah.
So, and he dropped almost 1,000 yards as a rookie. Yeah. So,
plus, I think it's going to be almost like what you were saying, Jack. Almost like the Megatron effect. It's going to start getting 2 or 3 guys. Nobody's going to let him be that wide open like the Lions let him be. He's going to start getting much more attention, and Smitty's going to start getting double team or getting that one-on-one coverage. I mean, so we saw what he could do in one-on-one coverage last year. So if he starts to open up, all of a sudden he'll be right back into the thick of it.
Also,
like Tom said, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Just to get a little technical, I think the Lions' their best trait is their defensive line, and I think our offensive line kind of underestimate them. And I think Jalen Hurts didn't rush, but I think he had to leave the pocket a little bit more, not to run, but to escape pressure. And for Devontae Smith to get open based off of A.J. Brown getting double teamed, it does take some time for that to develop. And I think Sunday's game showed that if Hurts doesn't have time to let the play develop, maybe Smitty won't have time to get those one-on-ones. So I think the more teams we play that have like worse and worse defensive lines and Jalen Hurts can stay in the pocket more, Smitty will have more time to beat one-on-ones. So I think that also isn't something we saw on Sunday.
I like Tom's point that he said too. Like that talent is not going to go away. That was a good point, Tom. Like last year he balled out. That just doesn't magically go away. What do you think, Liam? Like, I mean, you asked the question, but what do you think too, in your opinion? Like, do you think that Devontae Smith is going to get, some of these catches and bounce back, or do you think that A.J. Brown is kind of just going to keep eating most of that? Because Goddard didn't really do anything, did he, guys? I didn't see much. Yeah.
He had like anything but A.J. Brown in the past.
No. Goddard has 3 catches for 60 yards. I mean, he didn't have a lot of catches, but he was effective when he got the ball.
Okay, but anyway, what were you thinking, Liam?
I think Smith will definitely become a good wide receiver too. I think it was just like a one-off week type of thing where he had 0 points on fantasy and just kind of you could tell he was getting frustrated if you watched the game. He was shaking his head and stuff on the sideline, and A.J. Brown at one point went and like hugged him. So I don't know. Maybe he might like let it get to his head a little bit, but besides that, I think he'll bounce back and be solid. I'm just more concerned if Hurts is really going to be an actual like dual threat quarterback, or is he just primarily going to try and like scramble and get rushing touchdowns, or can he legitimately throw it?
Right. And also Smith's not used to this receiving core. Like we said, he was number 1 receiver last year, and adding A.J. Brown to the receiving core kind of made his role a little less than what he was expecting from last year. So he was expecting the same role this year, but then A.J. Brown kind of took the reins on that.
Plus, like, with A.J. Brown, with him being able to do what he does and having the experience that he has, he provided separation that Devontae Smith didn't know how to do last year. So we were able to see Hurts actually throw a nice deep ball for once, and he actually threw some nice touch passes into some tight coverage with A.J. Brown, who was able to go up and get it, whereas Devontae Smith is a little smaller physically, and he doesn't know how to position himself as well. He doesn't have that about him yet.
I hear that too. Like, I think at the end of the day, I think that it's going to be distributed a lot, but I like what Liam said. Like, I don't want him to be a guy that just, okay, first guy isn't there, time to run. And Jack and I were kind of talking about that today too a little bit, of where it's like, okay, if the first option isn't there, I'm going to take off. It needs to be, okay, third option isn't there, I'm going to take off. Because yes, well, you can be effective with your legs. Let that come naturally. Don't let that come every play, because eventually they're just going to start putting a QB spy down. And they know that if they're going to have everything locked up and your run game isn't there, you're kind of shit out of luck. So I think that Smitty will get over it, but we'll see what would happen. I actually have a question for Liam, and he can join us on our next segment if you want. But what are you thinking about Miles Sanders, Liam? I know he kind of bounced back. He had kind of a good game, 96 yards, 1 touchdown, 13 attempts. And, I mean, that's a great way to bounce back for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him continue with a solid year, but I don't know. I feel like he's never had like a complete, full, solid season. And I also feel like we don't utilize him right. Like we should. He's not fast. He can't break away and sprint down. He's like they catch up to him. He's just not fast enough to break off and take off for 90 yards. They need to just kind of have him keep grinding out and going like down middle 4 or 5 yards every time because he's pretty decent at that.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they need to know how to do is to utilize him to his strengths. I mean, do you attribute a lot of this to the offensive line, Jack, or more to Sanders? Like, because, I mean, everybody was kind of feasting in the rushing game.
I mean, it seems like from last year, he's more comfortable now taking those holes, making smart decisions, when to cut and when not to. As we saw last year, he wasn't confident at all in the field. But I think in the offseason kind of guy, that confidence back. And it's great to see that all 3 of our running backs last game got touchdowns. That's something I don't think I've ever seen before. I could be wrong.
No, we had 4 rushing touchdowns for 4 different people.
Oh,
it's fucking sick.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's more comfortable now, and I think keep feeding the beast, and he's going to, have a great year this year. I think. So
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think Jalen Hurts left the pocket at any wrong times last game. I thought he left when he had to, and I think that takes off a lot of stress from Miles Sanders because I think when he is given an actual handoff, like our run game's not Hurts escaping the pocket, it's actual handoffs, not RPOs. Sanders has more confidence and is going to hit the hole better. I mean, I don't think anybody. I think we all agree Sanders is talented. I think the big thing is going to be how many touches he gets in the offense, which is based on Nick Sirianni, and how healthy he stays. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to have our answer until the end of the season. You just got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because that's been the biggest thing throughout his career is just he gets hurt and he's out 2 or 3 games, and then when he gets back, the season's over.
It's kind of like Saquon. Saquon can be great, but he gets hurt.
Yeah, like Saquon.
Something about the Penn State boys.
Well, I would say the difference is Saquon, McCaffrey, like they are all overused in their offense, where Sanders hasn't really been overused. I think we've limited his touches, which is good, and he's just having freak accidents. So
we have more of a rotation style.
Yeah, and I think in this offense that's going to be fine. Like you can see that Boston Scott's going to come in to give Sanders a legit break, and Kenny Gainwell's going to come in to be that out of the back receiving threat, that kind of Darren Sproles role, and that's fine.
Did B. Scott have a touchdown last game too?
Yeah.
No,
all 3 running backs have one.
That's insane, and Hurts.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of insane.
And our defense, we didn't have a passing touchdown.
It is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
No, we'll take it. We didn't need it.
I guess, but at some point,
at
some point, you want to see your receiver get in the end zone. I mean, 155 yards. I'm not complaining about that. Don't get me wrong. What I am complaining about, though, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Zach made a stupid comment on Sunday watching the game, and he sat back in his seat. He's like, I actually really like Gannon a lot. Like, I really do like him. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Last year he had no scheme. This year, I don't know what he's coaching, but he still doesn't have a scheme, it seems like. And that was our biggest downfall on defense. Last year, no scheme, didn't pressure the quarterback at all. And when we pressured the quarterback a little bit on Sunday, we saw what it did. Caused some turnovers, caused what's his face?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff to make decisions I didn't want to. I hate this man. I miss Jim Schwartz. This guy, I don't know.
He can blitz. Send a blitz.
Yeah, he just needs to figure himself out. And also not playing Jordan Davis as much as he should have been playing. Come on now. and our defensive line, who's arguably top 5 defensive line in the league, getting blown off by the Lions linemen, even though they're probably offensive line's probably top 8 this year. You can't play like that, and especially the Vikings, who are a much better team. We got to figure something out and not get blown off the ball, because there's big holes that the D line, caused. Missing tackles too. It just, I just hate this man.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. So the Eagles, I know it's week 1. Everybody always sucks tackling week 1. The Eagles were 32 out of 32 teams in missed tackles on Sunday. Like, meaning they were the worst tackling team
in the NFL.
Yeah, and hopefully that will change. There's nothing really your defensive coordinator can do about that. That's not a scheme thing. That's just you're missing tackles. But also, like Jack said, there were holes that the Lions running backs hit. They have a good offensive line, so our defensive line is good. Like, yeah, you can send a blitz to help them. You can send more pressure, but our defensive line should be getting pressure by themselves. They shouldn't need help from the secondary or the linebackers. So, again, yeah, you can change the scheme a little to help, but, like, our talented players have to make talented plays at some point.
Yeah, but also, if a lot of times it's a chess match too, Josh. You forget that. You can't just straight up, if I know that my opponent is just going to bull rush me every time or do a swim move or something like that every time, and I don't have to account for anything else, I can more focus just on that one thing. If I have to account for a corner coming in every now and again on a blitz or a linebacker coming in, all of a sudden I can't just be focused on one guy. I have to think of multiple variables now.
Well,
and he doesn't want to throw in those variables.
Well, I disagree with that, because the first drive, the Lions had a really good drive, and then we basically shut them down the rest of the first half. And then the Lions made a lot of good adjustments at halftime.
But Gannon didn't want to make any adjustments.
Well, Gannon didn't need to make any adjustments at halftime because he shut them down.
At halftime, yes. Going into the fourth quarter, he should have realized, I'm getting eaten alive in the run game. Let me switch something up. And he did the same exact thing and almost lost the game because he refused to change. He refused to make an adjustment. He refused to put Jordan Davis in, and who was the only one who seemed to be able to stop the run. And he literally limited DeAndre Swift to less than 4 yards a carry, whereas when Jordan Davis was out, he was averaging over 10 yards a carry. So tell me, why is it he has his head so far up his ass that he can't figure out when he needs to change? Clearly, it wasn't working.
I like that.
I think at the end of the day, Gannon just needs to get a fucking scheme, get a plan. You can't like we used to, what I like to say, raw dog this show, which is where we would just go in with no plan and it was disorganized and it was fun, but we didn't get results. Now there's 9 of you people in here listening to us talk. That's insane to me. 10 of you now. That's awesome. But the point is, Gannon needs a plan. I'm not saying go out there and adapt. You don't have to stick to the game plan the whole game, Gannon. I get it. Things change. Things happen. But do some homework. That whole comment last year, it still makes me and Jack's blood boil. Every time we talk about Gannon, we say, I don't have a scheme. Like, what? You are a professional defensive coordinator in the NFL. I get it. Sometimes you don't want to answer questions, but have a scheme, man. Have a game plan. Like I said, this franchise, this team is paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars probably to do your job. Do your job. Liam, do you have anything to say about Gannon? Any frustrations you want to get out?
He definitely needs to go, but the real question comes down to, can the Eagles figure out, I guess it's really his job, but can the Eagles figure out a way to stop other teams? We have no worries about them scoring 30 points a game on offense. That's not the issue this year. It's going to be, can the defense keep up and stop the other team? Letting the Lions come back like that was just embarrassing. Should have never happened. They were up almost, 20-some points, and then came back down to a 3-point game at the end.
Yeah. How many times did the Lions punt that game?
A lot in the first half.
And then the second half, none. Not
Well,
really.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, Gannon didn't have to make halftime adjustments at halftime.
And he's still to make it in the
because
third
we shot-
and fourth quarter.
Well,
Third and fourth quarter. What?
I
let
mean,
me ask you
It's
this.
hard to make.
Let me
adjustments
ask
on
you
the
this,
sideline.
Zap. Let me ask you this. With your comment, why do you like Gannon? Please tell me why you like Gannon. Please tell me why you like Gannon.
I think he gets a rough rap. I think he actually puts players in positions to make plays, and a lot of times our players miss those plays.
Give me an example.
Like all the fucking missed tackles on Wednesday.
Well, then that's bad coaching.
Jack,
The
tell me
coach is
more.
supposed to put you in a position
Zach,
where
You can't coach
and they're
tackling.
putting people in there in a position where they have constantly failed time and time again. That's not being a good coach.
And also, we have arguably, I want to say top 5 defenses this season.
I would argue top 5, at least on paper. We should be. I mean, look at this freaking team. Yes, I mean, name me 5 better defenses on paper.
The Steelers, the Chargers, the Bucks,
The Rams, the Bucks, no. The Rams, though.
the Rams. You
The
don't think
Broncos,
Bucks-
maybe.
Definitely not the Broncos. The Broncos are going to be cheap. Yeah, and the Bills. I would say that's 5 right there.
But I don't know. This
I don't
dude.
think about the
I
Bucks.
disagree with 4 out of those 5.
If our season like unfolds and like we don't have a good season, it's all going to be Gannon's fault because our defense is really good. Our offense is unstoppable. Yes, like Liam said, we can put up 30 points, but at the same time, can we hold those 30 points?
I have one last question for Liam.
Okay,
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm
there.
here.
Have you ever realized your name backwards is male?
Yes. Since like
you
the
get,
first
you get
grade.
that a lot?
No. But
I never knew that, so I just learned something new today, Josh.
There
Do
you
you
go.
just, when people come on the podcast, do you just like spell their name backwards? That's the first thing you do when they come on the show?
No.
Zep, did you know that your last name spelled backwards is Pez's?
I did.
Did you now?
I did.
When did you make that discovery?
Right now.
Tell me more.
Exactly.
Anyway, well, Liam, we want to thank you for coming on the show as our call-in. We appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
God bless. Go Birds.
Man, before you go, give me a score prediction for this Vikings game.
let's go 28-17 Birds.
Okay.
I like it. I'm with
Is
it.
Devontae Smith going to get some targets this upcoming week?
Hopefully. He still did get some targets, but he got a pass interference. He got called back. He just had like a couple unfortunate things happen. So hopefully he still shines out and has another good week, and hopefully the defense can figure their shit out.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, Liam. Appreciate you being on the show. Always welcome. Come on. Just let us know, and we would love to have you on.
Yeah. I'll be back
Yes,
soon,
sir.
boys.
See
See
you,
you.
bye.
See you, Liam. And that bridges us perfectly into talking about your favorite guy one more time, Jack. JG, Jonathan. Yeah. I mean, this was the dumbest move of the week.
No, I don't know what went through his mindset. We saw Jordan Davis, JD, Jack Dorton. We saw him. We saw
A
him.
lot of spelling tonight on the pod, boys.
We saw him tear it up in the preseason.
As I said, Eagles fans are the best spellers, Josh.
Exactly. And like Tom said, when he was in, he would hold Swift to 4 yards rushing. I don't know why he didn't play as much as he should have. He seemed like the only, golden egg on our defense other than Bradbury's pick. But Gannon, what are you doing, dude? You got this guy in the first round. He's one of the best D-lines in the draft. Do something about it. Play him more, and everything's going to be fine. I will maybe forgive you if I see him play a lot more in this Vikings
All right.
game.
I am going to bring up 2 points.
You're
Yeah.
both are wrong.
And I don't know that these are right. These are more questions. One, we are not totally sure that Gannon is saying who goes in and who's not. There are other personnel coaches who may make that decision. The other thing I will say is this. Jordan Davis is a rookie. College football games, on first downs, the clock stops. You have a little bit more breathing time. You have a little bit more downtime in college. When you come to the NFL, you put some more weight on. It is very possible that Jordan Davis, he didn't play that much in preseason. He might have not had the conditioning that he needs to be at, and that's fine. That will go up throughout the season. So
It's
maybe
bullshit answer.
What?
Bullshit.
Okay. I mean, a lot of players are out of breath during week one, like even like veterans, Tom. Like it's
Even you're out.
I don't care.
I'm not in the NFL though.
But you can't breathe because you have.
Well, I have asthma.
Yeah, that's what
I
you're
fucking
fucking
well,
whip, little bitch.
I'm a loser. This guy has asthma attacks. What a nerd.
Where the hell is JJ? I just realized JJ's not here, so I don't think anybody's doing comments right now. Sorry to everybody in the comments that's been saying something. That's not intentional. I don't want you guys to think that that's on purpose. But here's what I'll say. Hindsight 2020, this guy's a fucking idiot. Jack and I hate him. Jordan Davis is so big that you just put him at nose tackle or defensive tackle and just let him sit there. Like that was where we were getting burnt by the Lions most of the game was by the guard and by the center, Frank Ragnall, and then the guard that they had that's pretty good. DeAndre Swift was just hitting counter runs. We all saw it on Sunday. We were all together. And it was just the same thing every time. And Tom and I were getting frustrated. And I just kept seeing this guy, Milton Williams, in there. No disrespect to Milton Williams. Was a good player last year, not Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis needs to be in the game. We picked him. This is what we drafted him for. So let him get these reps, especially because he's just such a big body that when you're getting beat in the middle, it doesn't really not make sense to keep him there just to clog things up. At least that's the way that I see it in the run game.
Yeah, he needs to be in shape to do that. Like if he's out of breath, he's not going to be effective that long. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but I think he could play a little bit more than 32% of the reps.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, he was the highest rated rookie, I believe, or the highest rated defensive tackle of the week. Maybe the highest rated rookie defensive tackle.
Like we said, when he's getting drafted, he's a bear on wheels. He's pretty quick for his size.
Yeah, but you also have to think
he can get up the field.
Georgia's defense. We played him at least 50%. Well, that game would have been as close as it was.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I agree with Tom.
He might have gotten tired. Georgia's defense.
Jordan Davis was the highest graded rookie defensive lineman in week one. That's what it is.
Because they kept every offense at 3 and outs. You know what I mean? He's not used to being on the field as much as you are in the NFL.
Okay, he doesn't have to play.
Where was Fletcher Cox then at the same time?
He had some good plays.
No, Fletcher Cox looks old.
Don't you ever say
that. But Milton Williams, I'm sorry. When you have Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and Javon Hargrave, one of those three guys should be in.
There's nothing worse than old Cox, all right?
Well,
before we
and speaking of
time out, before we move on to this,
rewind.
I feel like we should hit on the pros and cons of week's game because I feel like we haven't really hit it. The takeaways, you know what I mean?
Sure. So pros and cons from the Lions game?
Yeah. Like what we can improve upon.
Everything.
What we looked good at.
Offense was great.
I mean,
I'll go first real quick. I have my first one. I think the run game would be the one thing that I would take away. I think that the run game looked fantastic, and it was really refreshing to see. It was really nice to see Miles Sanders get in the end zone for the first time in 2 years. Jack and I were jumping up and down with each other. So my biggest takeaway would be I think that the offensive line play is really freaking at the top of its game. And I think that there were a couple things that could have been improved still. But if they're playing like that week one, imagine what they're going to be like when they're a well-oiled machine. So props to the Eagles offensive line week one. You guys deserve it.
I'm gonna throw a caveat in there. I thought they did a really good job run blocking on design run plays. I think their pass protection could be a little bit better.
Okay, that's fair.
Well,
that's fair.
The Lions have a good defensive line that's going to feast when we're just straight dropping back.
Right.
So,
and I disagree with the comment you said earlier. I feel like, and I was talking to our coworker Josh yesterday, and we were talking about the game, and not you. And we were talking about you may say he, I thought he rushed way too soon. He didn't have the play develop at all. He wasn't getting that much pressure. He decided first decision to run. And yes, it worked for us, but at the same time, let it develop a little more, and then, eventually then run. But don't run right away because he just rolled out of the pocket some plays and just started running. I agree. I mean, For me, I just think some cons, I already talked about it, was that the D-line needs to improve because, granted, like we said, the O-lines are top 8 offensive line, but we can't get blown off of the line like we were because we have one of the better D-lines in the league. So with those skills we have, we shouldn't be getting blown off, making those big holes for the running back, get DeAndre Swift or Williams to run through. Other than that, I mean, I feel like it was a first week. I mean, it was a good first week game. Hopefully we can improve upon, we'll watch film, see what we can do about that. But I think, I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting us to blow out the Lions at all because, I mean, like they said last season, they lost games by 3, and that's what they did this week.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Here's what I got for you. My pros, I thought the offense overall did very well for 2 quarters. Cons of the offense, another slow start. They got shut out in the first quarter, but then eventually turned it on and couldn't sustain long drives when we needed it most in the fourth to keep the defense off the field and keep them fresh. And my third con was for Jalen Hurts. He didn't do what I thought makes quarterbacks great a lot of times, and that is spread out the ball and keep it so that you don't know who's getting the pass next. When Tom Brady was at his best, when Peyton Manning was at his best, Joe Montana's at his best, as Aaron Rodgers at his best.
You never watch Montana.
You can watch highlights. Go watch any highlight game and go watch any highlight of Brady. His greatest games. And what do they all have in common?
They're white.
That they could spread out the ball. Fine, and throw Michael Vick in there if you want to be like that. Even Michael Vick did it too. They would spread out the ball, and you wouldn't know who was getting the pass next. He would throw it to Julian Edelman. Then he throw it to Rob Gronkowski. Then he throw it to, that's what he needs to do more. That he's throwing A.J. Brown, 10-yard pass. A.J. Brown, 40-yard pass. I love that A.J. Brown tore it up. Don't get me wrong. But as the season goes on, he needs to develop with Dallas Goedert, with Quez Watkins, with Devontae Smith. And so then teams are going, holy shit, who are we covering now? You know?
And I think what Hurts did was he only looked for A.J. Brown. And if A.J. Brown wasn't open, he's going to roll out of the pocket and run.
Exactly.
The other receivers that could have been open. So that's where, he needs to improve that. One last thing, and then we can move on to the next topic. Dave Bergner mentioned in the comments, how do you think the D-line rotation is going to be since Barnett's out?
It's going to be 3
I think it'll be fine.
It's just going to be Reddick, Graham, and Josh Sweat. It's going to be a 3-man rotation.
I would rather have Sweat in there over Barnett to develop too anyway, just because I like Sweat better. But last but not least, before we move on to our second to last topic, I did want to get to...
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
The Fantasy Football Network.
Also, again, thank you, Fantasy Football Network, for sponsoring that segment. The question that we had was, what is Nick Sirianni and Doug Peterson's combined record week 1 as Eagles head coach? Again, what is Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni's record combined for week 1 as the head coach for the Eagles? And the answer is 6-1.
What was the loss? What was the loss? Who knows it?
Was it week 1 after the Super Bowl? We played the Vikings.
No, we played the Falcons, and we won.
It was against the
Washington. It's really special in that game.
It was against the Washington football team, and it was when everything went to shit.
Oh my God, Tom will never forget that game
because we went up like 3 touchdowns. We were trying to get the grill to start
and
out.
You were talking so much shit to Andy.
Dude, Jalen Reagor had like a 50-yard catch. It was like his first catch in the NFL. And everybody was like, "Oh, this was a great pick."
And then look
where he's at like freaking
he's going
idiots.
back.
Look at where he's at now.
Field, baby. Great bridge into this new topic. I'm not feeling too high about this because The Vikings looked really scary. Zep lost a bet because he chose the Packers.
Oh, how'd your bet go?
I don't want to talk about it.
Good.
But it wasn't as bad.
How did it go? While we're on the topic.
Broncos.
I lost my bet too. I got the
entire group or the entire podcast lost.
We shit the bed.
Yeah.
So
it went really bad.
I'm not too keen on this week. I feel like with our game against the Lions, they exposed us a lot, and the Vikings played a phenomenal game. As long as we can lock down Jefferson with Slay or Bradbury, I think we're good. Because I mean, he only targeted what's his name? Kirk Cousins only targeted Jefferson pretty much all last game. So if we can lock him down, I think we should be good. And if we fix the fact that we don't get blown up by the offensive line for the Vikings, I think this would be a good game. But I don't know. I am not as confident as I was against the Lions, needless to say. But I feel like this is going to be a good judge of character on if we're going to last this season, because this is probably one of our hardest games this season. I would say.
I would agree. I think this is probably going to be a shootout. I think
a pissing match.
A pissing match, Dutch.
Jesus. I think our defense is a little bit better than the Vikings defense, but I think their offense is probably a little bit better than ours. The Packers have a good defense, and Justin Jefferson went off, but they held him to 23 points. I mean, 23 points is a lot, but you can win a game by holding the opponent to 23 points. And I just think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I will say this. Gannon will piss me off if Slay doesn't follow Jefferson around the field. He better flip sides, because if we're just playing straight zone and just letting other people cover Jefferson, I will be upset if that happens. So there you go.
There you go. I think it's going to be a close game. Go ahead, Doug.
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry. You're good.
No. Okay. I think it's going to be a close game, but a high-scoring game, like Josh said. And I think we're bound to get burned by Jefferson at least once. He's that elite of a player that you have to be like, yeah, he's probably going to burn us at least once type of thing. It's just like with T.O., it's just like with Megatron, just like with their Randy Moss.
Just like with A.J. Brown.
Just like with A.J. Brown. You just have to, expect that you're going to get burned at least once. And he's that player. So I think we're going to get burned by him. I didn't like our run defense last week. Cook is a lot better of a rusher than Swift is.
Yes, sure.
So I think we get burned even more if we don't put Jordan Davis in and we rely on the stupid antics of Josh and Gannon. So that's my piece.
Yeah, so
I think. Go ahead,
Mason, fan.
Yeah, shut up, Dalton. You never get to talk.
He said Jefferson only dropped 2 passes against the Packers with one, which one was because he didn't have a foot in the end zone. So
thank you, Mason, the Vikings fan. Who do you root for?
Mason, the Vikings fan. You know what? The Philadelphia Eagles are gonna punch your team right in the mouth. That's what we're gonna do, because we're from Philly and we don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. This is going to be a gritty game, and I agree with Jack. This is probably the game that I'm probably the most nervous about for our defense all year. This is probably a top, I would say 3 or 4, I would say top 3 offense in the NFL. Underrated offense for sure. Kirk Cousins doesn't get enough appreciation. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is amazing, but he's definitely, I think, a top 15, top 12 quarterback when he's playing at his best, like he did last week. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattinson, if he's still there. Yeah, Jalen Reagor. No. There's a lot of guys, though, in all seriousness, on that team that I'm very afraid of. So it's going to be a good test for our defense. How do you hold up to this team? Because I think that the offense should have a field day. I think Harrison Smith is a good player, but I really think that Vikings defense, I don't want to say got lucky last week, but maybe played to their advantage of Aaron Rodgers playing bad. Knew how to capitalize on those mistakes is what I should say. So the Philadelphia Eagles offense, I think, should be able to hang. Will the defense be able to make the stop when it comes time? That'll be the real question.
Let's score predictions. What are we feeling, guys?
I like Liam's prediction of 28-17, so I'll go a little bit different. I'm going to say 31-24 Birds.
I'll go. I'm saying 42 to 35 Birds.
Ooh, high scoring game. Tommy?
Josh.
Sorry. Yeah, Zep.
Damn it, Tommy, you're on mute, you dumb bitch.
Josh, you go first. Josh, go.
32-28 Vikings.
Dutch, I'm feeling nostalgic with my score prediction. And we had a very good feeling going into that stadium. I remember us walking into that stadium, hearing the roar.
And that's why you shouldn't bitch out, and you should go to the game with me on Monday night.
I have work, okay? Hold on, let me finish this. We heard that loud sound from blocks away. Hey, and then what did that loud, roaring, boisterous crowd roar us into? They roared us into Minnesota 2 weeks later for a grand showing in the Super Bowl in that negative freezing weather where Big Dick Nick put it on a display for all to see. And that is why we will win 41-33. Offenses are taking over. What?
I thought you were going to do the Vikings game prediction, 38-7. I'm like, what the fuck? At the 41-33, Dutch getting nostalgic.
33-7 thing. Now they got to take a big spanking when they and give them a little bit of hope, because that's even more crushing of a loss.
All right, Tom. So when you're watching the game on Monday night, since you're not going to go with me, what are you eating for your game day snack? What's your go-to or your favorite thing to eat on game day?
Depends who I'm with.
You're with the boys. It's a Sunday. You're with the podcast. We're at Jack and Josh's place.
If I'm with you boys, I'd probably have to stop at Pat's in Philly real quick, then make my drive down 95 to Newark, and get me a Bona bag. Hey, if you know, you know. Oh, and get me some of those good wings. That's probably what I need. Some Paps. They're the best. If I'm at my house, I'm cooking me a good cheesesteak.
Delco Steaks.
A Delco steak, a true one. And because I'm a man of flavor, yes, I'm going to put peppers and onions and caramelized onions into them. I don't care what our boys on TikTok say about peppers not going into cheesesteaks. They go in there. The green peppers do. They're delicious. Dutch. Sorry you don't like flavor and taste.
I guess I don't. Some people only have taste in their mouth. Jackson?
You know,
does that mean?
Yeah, no. Prior to my diet, I would be eating a nice. I'd probably make some nice.
Now he only eats ice cubes, guys.
But I mean, making a nice buffalo chicken dip with Tostitos chips, shredded chicken, cream cheese, buffalo sauce, ranch, and I'm just gonna put that down on our coffee table and just go to town on that. But with my diet currently, I'm just gonna have a shake. That's really it. But that's my game day meal.
What kind of shake? What flavor shake?
It's gonna be a vanilla dream shake.
Ooh, what's so dreamy about it?
The taste in your mouth.
Okay. All right. In college, I used to eat nachos on game day. I used to make this nice nachos, put it in the oven. But as I matured, and nachos, I'm not mature at all. I still love nachos. But this past week we won, so I have to eat the same thing that I ate this past week. And this past week was a nice, thick boy, little baby burrito from El Diablo, and we're gonna go back to that because you can't change traditional game day.
Don't fix it. There we go.
Yeah. Don't reinvent the wheel, boys.
All right. Josh, thank you for that answer. That's a great answer. My number one answer is also El Diablo burritos. If I could eat El Diablo burritos for every meal, I would. But if it's game day and I'm not eating El Diablo burritos, I would have to say my favorite game day snack, Chicky and Pete's crab fries. if you know Dalt, you know that that's his favorite thing in the world. Whenever I'm at the beach, if I'm at the beach this weekend and I'm able to get them, I'll get them. I would probably put them in the fridge for Monday night if I could, but they won't be as good. The cheese, the crab fries, everything. Had it today with my buddy Jack for lunch, so that was nice. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick something, my favorite game day snack would be Chicky and Pete's crab fries, especially if I'm at the stadium. There's nothing better than you got that Coke, you got a buzz, you got the Chicky and Pete's in front of you, you got people screaming around you, you got, Ballpark Tommy hanging over the chair about to get into a fight with, the freaking Vikings fan.
I'm going to fight you right now.
He's fighting the Vikings fan, screaming at the guy, 41-33. The Vikings fan doesn't get it. He's all confused. But no, in all seriousness.
He's never won a Super Bowl.
Hey, there it is. That's a good comeback. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Try to keep it light. Try to keep it right. Try to keep it tight. And we'll have it next week for you guys too. Hopefully, we'll be 2-0. But I'll let Jackson do what he does every week.
Is that it's not an intro, it's an outro. Hit that outro.
Josh,